you to shut up.
You did!
No, I didn't. I asked you to stop. I asked you to stop. I never told you to shut up. All I asked you to...
Don't report her. That doesn't matter. You don't know what... Girl, you don't know what she's supposed to do. Don't y'all do that to a little girl. Y'all don't know what she's supposed to do.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cafe Belmont. My name is James Belmont. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're going to talk about children being disciplined and why it's important to do so that your kid doesn't turn out to be another demon in society. You know, this entire topic brings back a lot of memories when I was a kid of how I was being disciplined. I would be remiss if I even had the thought of yelling in the store, embarrassing my mom when we go shopping. Death couldn't save me when I go home or when I went home. Now, discipline is important not only for children but for people in everyday life. It gives you a barrier that you're not supposed to cross so that you stay on the straight and narrow. This could be as simple as you're trying to start a new business. You need to be disciplined enough to not do certain things. Or you're trying to become a better person compared to where you were 5 or 10 years ago. Now, a little bit of context for this video. I saw a video of a child in a Walmart destroying the products in the store. As far as I know, it was a regular day. Everybody was going to Walmart getting their groceries. And in the deli section, there was a parent trying to control their child because they were acting up in public. In this whole scenario, a particular phrase stuck out to me as odd and sort of a red flag. A person in the crowd, I don't know if it's the actual parent or some random stranger, but they were saying to let her do that. By let her do that, this person meant continue to allow her to destroy public property and disturb the peace. Traditionally speaking, we would deal with kids that do something like this by spanking them, applying a physical punishment so that they know that there are consequences for what they do. Nowadays, that is not as popular as it used to be. Today, there are two types of disciplining. You have the one that I mentioned before, and the less effective one, in my opinion, talking and negotiating with your children. I'm going to go over the philosophy behind both of these types. For the physical discipline, the general idea is to apply a physical punishment for their actions. It is not a perfect way to discipline your children. In fact, sometimes it could turn out as trauma for them, depending on how severe you apply the physical punishment to them. Some parents, and I mean not all parents, but some specific human beings with children, are ruthless, and they treat their children like war prisoners, beating them senseless. I'm not talking about those specific type of people. I'm talking about the ones that use the traditional type but does not take enjoyment in beating their children and seeing them cry. But these type of people does exist, and I just want to point that out. The reason why most people would choose this is because of what they could encounter in the real world. It could be a lot worse. For example, if your child stole something, you spanking them is a lot better than the person who they stole from shooting them or beating them up. That could be a thing, but it's not perfect. It's just another tool that you can use to discipline your child, and it has pros and cons. For the next one, people who negotiate with their children. They see the physical punishment as unnecessary and try to come to a middle ground with the child. That could be a good and a bad thing, but generally speaking, by doing this, you are putting your child on the same level as a parent, a person who is supposed to guide the child and help them navigate the world around them. Children at that age, depending on the age that we're talking about, don't know a lot of things. I'm not saying that they're stupid, but the nuance of life they don't know. And this is where parents come in to use their experience to educate them. When it comes to traditional versus negotiation, I think there's a little bit of a middle ground where both of them can exist at the same time. For example, if the child stole something, you could explain the reasons why their actions are bad versus just immediately beating them. If you talk to them and they repeat the same behavior because what they expected to happen did not occur, as in the punishment they expected to receive did not happen, and they repeated the same behavior, then you can step in with more aggressive means. By aggressive means, I'm not saying to beat the child to death, I'm saying punish them physically. But by no means am I saying that you should just negotiate. You should tell them that what they're doing is wrong versus, oh, he's just being a little kid. Oh, he's just being a teenager. Well, teenagers can go to prison still, and they could behave like that if they're not punished properly, disciplined properly. That's an example I could think of. For the girl in the video, for her to be able to act like that in public with no form of shame or discipline, it means that she did not, or she practiced that at home, and her mother probably allowed her to repeat the same behavior at home, similar to what she's doing now. Basically, allowing her to do whatever she wants, whenever she pleases. No discipline, no control. I believe if the parents didn't cave to her every single demand and apply discipline where it is appropriate, she wouldn't be exhibiting these behaviors in public. If anybody who is watching this video who grew up traditionally, you know when your parents look at you, they don't even need to tell you anything. That fear that seeps into your soul, that is what should be there as a deterrent for her not to be acting this way. You know exactly what I'm talking about here. Whether it be your mom, whether it be your dad, it doesn't matter. The fact that you know that there are consequences for you acting up in public, besides the fact that you may be special needs because certain kids behave in a different way depending on the environment that they're in. If you're a regular kid with no special needs, you know exactly what I'm talking about. In conclusion, there are different ways to discipline your child. Some better than others. The traditional way of disciplining your child may have some side effects depending on how severe you apply the punishment. Negotiating terms with your child may have consequences too. But I believe there is a middle ground where both of them can exist. Explanation instead of initiating physical punishment could be an option. And if the child exhibits the same behavior, you move over to harsher means. You shouldn't be enjoying the pain of your children. It should pain you more than it pains them to do this. But if you want them to live as long as possible in this world, you need to do this. This has been Cafe Belmont. My name is James Belmont. Thank you for joining me. Before I go, tell somebody in your life that you love them, and I'll see you soon. Take care.